Filson, the brand with a 127-year history, has truly lost its way. But luckily, there are other brands that are there to pick up the pieces. Welcome, I'm Carl Murawski, and this is the channel that helps you own better, look better, and live better. First off, I just want to clarify, these are my own opinions based on what I've seen, talking with former Filson employees, and paying attention to history. I encourage you to do your own research and spend your money where you best see fit. Hopefully that gets rid of any legal concerns, because the last thing I need is another cease and desist letter. Filson once stood as an emblem of rugged durability and timeless craftsmanship in the realm of outdoor apparel and gear. Established in 1897 during the Klondike Gold Rush, Filson earned a reputation for outfitting prospectors with sturdy garments designed to withstand the harshest conditions. However, in recent years, the brand has experienced a noticeable decline marked by wavering quality, price increases, and missteps in brand management. When C.C. Filson founded the company, it was focused on rugged durability above all else. In the years following the Gold Rush, many working people found tremendous value in Filson's hard-wearing goods. The tagline, "Might as well have the best," rang true for nearly 75 years as Filson's product lifespans were measured in generations. Filson was known as some of the best gear you could get in the workwear category, especially for cold weather. Until 1970, Filson only offered 35 products in their catalog, products which served outdoor enthusiasts and working people alike. The Filson family sold the brand to Stan Coles in 1970, who expanded their product catalog from 35 products to 250 and introduced the now famous Filson Rugged Twill bags. In 2005, Brentwood Associates acquired Filson, and in 2012, Brentwood Associates sold Filson Holdings Inc. to Dallas-based Bedrock Manufacturing Company. If you saw my video on great brands ruined by private equity firms, you know that often private equity marks the beginning of the end as they squeeze out any profits or liquidate the assets. The decline of Filson may seem like a recent trend, but in reality, it began decades ago. Oh hey, I'm just out here in my garage wearing my Mackinac Cruiser, eating an apple with my Naf's Lander 2, like I do every Tuesday in August. And while it seems like some brands might be on the decline, other brands are on their way up, like Naf's. This is the Lander 2, and as you can see, I equipped it with some custom scales. I love their shape. The blade shape of this thing is so usable. I have used this thing to do almost everything, to cut into steaks on the grill, to open packages, of course, to do all the stuff that you do with a regular EDC knife. I also really like the fact that it's basically open source, so you can fix things on here. You can adjust them yourself with only a few small tools. It's really not that hard. I think there's 6 screws or 8 screws total on this one right here to swap out the scales. They also will allow you to download the specs for scales if you want to make your own. Let's say you have access to a water jet, or you simply just want to make some out of wood or something. You could totally do that. Another thing that I really like about the Lander 2 is it has this deep carry pocket clip. So when you put this thing into your pocket, it almost disappears. All you see is the very, very top there. This brand has been really, really cool. They also offer not just this one right here, although this is my favorite. They have a couple of other products that look very interesting. They just came out with the Lulu, which is a fixed blade, and then they did a whole video about how they took that knife to the Amazon and like lived there for 11 days or something. It's really cool. I'll link it below, but it's definitely worth checking out. Looks like a capable little fixed blade. More than anything though, Naf's just seems to be a really cool company run by some really solid people. And to me, that means just as much as the product that they offer. Now the product's gotta be solid, you know? But it means so much more when I feel like the people behind it are actually cool. That kind of thing really makes me proud to have them as a sponsor on this video. As you know, I don't do just any sponsorship. I mean, I only really talk about products that I actually like and use. And this is no different. This thing has been great. I'm looking forward to checking out some more of their other blades, and I certainly suggest that you do the same. They have a lot of different ones over there. It's worth going and taking a look. There's also kind of like a whimsy to them that I really appreciate. They make some jokes. They're sort of lighthearted and fun, which is something that you don't usually see in, EDC kind of things. They're usually like super duper military and very serious, but these guys, they're not afraid to have a laugh. I love that about them. Anyway, awesome company, Naf's. Go and check them out. Thank you, Naf's, for sponsoring this video. Shifting consumer preferences. As the outdoor industry evolved throughout the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, so did consumer preferences. Filson's traditional aesthetic, characterized by its reliance on classic, heavy-duty materials like wool and heritage designs, began to lose resonance with contemporary outdoor enthusiasts, especially through the 1980s. While once revered for its durability, Filson's products faced criticism for being overly heavy and lacking versatility compared to newer, lighter-weight alternatives offered by competitors. Wool outerwear was replaced by synthetic fleece, polyester, and nylon, which was cheaper and much more in fashion. A good example of this is the movie A Christmas Story, a film made in the 1980s about a family in 1940s Indiana. The period-correct costumes look like they were sourced straight from a Filson catalog, in a time before neon ski jackets and Gore-Tex took over. The wool outfits convey the old-timey style of the movie, a style that was quickly losing favor with American consumers. Filson refocused their efforts on a new type of consumer, the affluent who appreciated the popular rugged aesthetic. The type of consumer who valued image and status over quality and durability. Brand dilution and expansion. In an effort to capitalize on its heritage appeal, Filson embarked on a strategy of brand expansion, diversifying its product offerings beyond its core outdoor apparel and luggage lines. While this expansion initially garnered attention and increased visibility for the brand, it also risked diluting Filson's identity. Collaborations with brands like Vans, people like Chris Stapleton, and ventures into lifestyle categories may have broadened Filson's market reach, but they also alienated loyalists who valued the brand for its rugged authenticity. By attempting to appeal to a broader audience, Filson lost sight of the niche that once defined its brand essence. The brand that once outfitted frontiersmen was now selling $300 snack tables and $70,000 co-branded Jeeps. Products that its original consumer wouldn't want and probably couldn't afford. Leadership and management challenges. Behind the scenes, Filson faced internal challenges that exacerbated its decline. Often when a private equity firm acquires a company, it usually means that company will be fundamentally changed. In Filson's case, leadership turnover, operational inefficiencies, and strategic mismanagement hindered the brand's ability to navigate turbulent market dynamics effectively. Without a cohesive vision or decisive leadership at the helm, Filson struggled to course correct and regain its footing amidst mounting competition. The absence of a clear direction further eroded confidence among stakeholders and undermined the multiple efforts to revitalize the brand. Quality control issues. Filson's reputation was built on the promise of uncompromising quality, as evidenced by their old tagline, "Might as well have the best." But in recent years, reports of declining craftsmanship have tarnished its image. Customers have voiced complaints about inconsistencies in product quality, especially as Filson expands their product sourcing to countries outside the United States. Such lapses in quality control compromise the trust once placed in the brand, leading consumers to question the value proposition of Filson's premium-priced goods. Premium pricing which seems to keep growing. In an era where authenticity and reliability are paramount, Filson's failure to maintain its standards has proved detrimental to its brand integrity. Searching through social media platforms like Reddit and Facebook will reveal frustrated consumers voicing their opposition to bloated costs and seeking viable alternatives. Moving production overseas. Though Filson began as an American company selling American-made and sourced products, it's difficult to find a 100% American-made product in their catalog. Even their flagship Mackinac Cruiser was once made in Seattle using wool from Pendleton in Oregon. But Filson changed their wool to an Italian supplier. Increasing prices while simultaneously moving more production overseas seems to be the final nail in the coffin for many former Filson loyalists. Oh yeah, and about those price increases? Though costs for everything seem to have increased, Filson has inflated their prices to a level that leads many to question their value. For example, Filson's signature product, the Mackinac Cruiser. In 2003, Filson sold the Mackinac Cruiser for $246. Its price today in the second half of 2024, $550. Filson Alternatives. At one time, "Might as well have the best" was as much truth as it was a tagline. These days, however, there are alternatives which beat Filson at their own game. Weatherwool, Shipjohn, Bradley Mountain, Heat Straps, Tin Duck Denim, Red Clouds Collective, Vermont Flannel, Duluth Pack, and Frost River all offer superior alternatives to their Filson counterparts while still being made in the USA. The decline of Filson serves as a cautionary tale against the perils of complacency and the importance of adaptability in the ever-changing landscape of retail. I can't help but be reminded of Abercrombie & Fitch, a brand that was very similar to Filson until 1988 when it was acquired by Limited Brands. The once well-respected outdoor outfitter shifted its focus to fashion retail, and while it's inarguably been a financial success, their entire history was practically erased in the interest of profit. Future Proof did a great video on this recently called Why Clothing is Worse Now, and I definitely suggest you go check it out. Once revered for its unwavering commitment to quality and tradition, Filson faltered as it grappled with brand delusion and leadership challenges. While the brand's legacy endures as a symbol of America's frontier spirit, its decline underscores the imperative for brands to evolve with the times while staying true to their core values. Whether Filson can reclaim its former glory remains uncertain, but its unraveling legacy serves as a sobering reminder to the fickle nature of consumer loyalty and the high stakes of brand stewardship in the modern marketplace. Look, maybe I'm just bitter. Maybe I just romanticize a time where people bought clothing and it wasn't meant to be consumed. It was meant to be repaired and last a long time. And maybe that's just an antiquated notion. But still, I've kind of lost hope that Filson will find their way. I think that we're just gonna keep seeing the steady decline, and just nobody's gonna really know what that brand stood for in a few years' time. It's really sad because I, for one, really loved that brand. For a long time, if they made it, I probably bought it. And to think that that's not the case anymore, it really does hurt. And I hope they can find their way, but I'm not hopeful. But luckily, there are small, great brands that are filling the gaps that Filson left behind. And I've left links in the description to a lot of those if you want to go and check them out. The cool thing is that when you buy from one of those companies, most of the time, you're actually talking to the person who's making your stuff. And that's who I like to support. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Especially thank you to my patrons. They are the best. And I hope that you have a great week. Talk to you next time.